Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Simone Bahou. 10 years ago, with the publication of Ascension, Book 1, Me versus You, I posed the question, have you ever stated to yourself or another in disbelief, I don't know why I said that, I don't know why I did that? The yes answer today is still the same as it was 10 years ago, and the awareness doorway to end your own personal suffering, idiocracy, and the insanity of any war with another or others. I'm going to explain how this happens unbeknownst to you in this video and the videos to come. There is much work to do, and keep in mind that what you're about to hear is not for the lazy or the complacent. It is time to stop the madness. So where does the madness come from? What really is the root cause? In simplicity, it's a game. An unknown game of unknown will that we think is real. Hang on to your seatbelts, Dorothy, because your current reality is going bye-bye. Throughout man's history, we have needed to have a stronghold on something. These strongholds can be unbeknownst to us, meaning we never made a conscious choice to associate with them because in simplicity, they were already here energetically. Every yes and no decision or choice that came before you have led to the reality that we live in today. Change the yes and no's or the choices changes any reality, whether in the matrix of survival or not. Any stronghold is an egotistical difference or indifference with something of significance or insignificance that we, in a sense, are willing to die for. It really doesn't matter what this stronghold is. It can be something simple like a professional sports team, or something much more indoctrinating like our individual race, religious or spiritual orientation, or our profession. In simplicity, a stronghold is anything that I believe is better than you, as in me versus you. While we are busy being better than another, at some point or stage we are ultimately confined to the energy of one day it will be over, meaning my life. The energy of survival's primary intention is to keep you busy in some level of confusion, and that is where we succumb or sell it into, that's just the way it is here. Sound familiar? The result of this reality becomes I must begin to prepare for senescence. This can be a point of midlife crisis, but it doesn't have to. From this perspective of life, some choose to immerse themselves in church doctrine for salvation. If the church doesn't get you, something else will. Besides saving to retire and die, you may take on an addiction as a means of coping with this ending, like gambling, food, sex, drugs, or alcohol. If you are cunning, you may become a drama addict. Addiction does indeed have many faces. Any of these ways to cope with this ending keep us remarkably busy. If you've lost hope or simply give up because you really feel there is no point to any of it, sadly, suicide can be an alternative. In the end, it doesn't really matter how you choose to exit. It doesn't even matter if you choose to save to retire and die. What may matter is that you did the best you could despite all this, and in some way have a semblance of who you are, as in know thyself. The genesis of ego was to protect us from lions, tigers, and bears, or for that matter, dinosaurs. Initially, this simple, energetic idea originated from thought energy to aid us for protection, preservation, and survival from the elements. As we are busy preparing for the finality of death, we are equally busy evading our fear of death, dying, and disease. Death, dying, and disease, or 3D reality as we know it, is the egotistical energy we have needed for humanity's survival. As this energy enables our survival, it is also the very thing that kills us. This ego energy is a dichotomy and is also the energetic cycle of life as we know it today. Cumulatively, this dichotomy is also the sole reason for our continual suffering and wars. How, you ask? It is the pettiness, keyword pettiness, of me against you pertaining to anything big or small. It is life as we know it today and the reason why we do not know ourselves, as in know thyself. I suppose you can stand on a street corner and denounce war, a political opponent, a celebrity, or any idea in the good fight of me versus you with your best forthright display of egotism, or you can do something else. That something else is ascension. Ascension in this context means to aspire beyond the egotistical survival energy of significance or insignificance as it relates to difference or indifference, or more simply stated, me against you. When you aspire beyond me against you, you find the energy of me and you, which is of essence, which is purpose, and effervescence, which is love. It is from this perspective of life that the 10 Commandments are no longer lofty. Like easing into a warm bath or putting on your favorite sweater or pair of shoes, they just feel good. Keep in mind that the 10 Commandments are guidelines to live within the parameters of the game of me versus you in survival. The initial premise here is to ask for ascension by conscious choice, and from this day forward, do your best to live a predominantly positive, intentional-oriented life one day at a time. The moment you make the conscious choice by asking, "It is done," meaning thy kingdom come, thy will be done. If you indulge in the lucrative and seductive energy of old days and ways, you experience suffering. The suffering is a barometer that can quickly redirect you back to your positive, intentional orientation. This orientation is exclusive to you, your path, and your purpose, and does not require approval from anybody, including you. Every one of us came here to experience the fruits of this physicality, and there is no exclusion to this egotistically or otherwise. Meaning no one is here to experience anything less than this. The belief and resulting hierarchy and contrast only exists in 3D reality. This energy is pervasive, elusive, lucrative, seductive, and very confusing. Anytime you experience these energies, especially confusion, you are at the effect of this egotistical energy of survival, or me versus you. Are you confused? If you are at the effect of this independent energy unbeknownst. Its once good intentional orientation for survival has become lost in the dichotomy, and purposefully so. The only way to unravel this cycle of life to death is to ascend. We have unintentionally been keeping this cycle in place for protection that we no longer need. Keep in mind, this is what is systemic, and this is the root cause of all unease and or dis-ease. A glimmer of this is like taking the red pill, all of the matrix, to open awareness, versus the blue pill, which leaves you oblivious as to what is really happening in the world and is an excuse and sheer laziness from confusion, a la, I don't know what to do. It is time to man or woman up and take responsibility for your actions, because this is the only way to stop the madness. It really is that simple and much closer to home than we understand and know. The transparency is right here. You have to see beyond it. It's not time to woke up. It's time to wake up. For greater explanation, copy and paste in your browser on the link in the description portion of this video to get your own copy of Book 1, my book, Ascension, Me versus You, by me, Dr. Simone Bahou. Please subscribe, rumble, and share, because we need to do this cumulatively together to stop the madness. It is the only way to stop the madness. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.